Hello there everyone and welcome to this video. Today we're going to talk about these. We're going to talk about tying thread and exactly how and what is the difference between these. I'm going to finish this video off by making tying on a black shank with white thread, all these different types of tying threads. The threads we're going to discuss today is the Vevus, the UTC, the Uni, and finally the Benicki tying thread. I think the four major brands of tying thread out there. So first off is the old and classic Uni thread. This is probably one of the most well-renowned threads and one of the threads that has been around for the longest time. This thread is sized in 6.0 and 8.0, and that's the two sizes it's available in. And this 6.0 and 8.0 is kind of I don't know what that standard comes from, but it's something that applies to most tying threads. The other standard of sizing for the tying thread, 6.0 is thicker than 8.0, and of course 10.0 is thinner again, and 12.0. So if you have the 0.0 the dash slash O system, then the larger the number, the thinner the thread. But the other way that some of the other out there are measuring how thick the thread is, something like this. This is the Vevus GSP thread, one of my absolute favorite threads, is in denier. So basically they have a measurement that's called D. So this is 150 D, and in denier, the higher the size, the thicker the thread. So this Vevus GPS, which is one of the threads that I use the most, it comes in 30, 50, 100, 150 and 200 deniers. And 200 is the thickest one, and the 30 is the thinnest one. And denier is also kind of a peculiar way of listing thread size, because to the best of my understanding, what I've been able to find out, then one denier actually refers to 9 kilometers of a single thread of pure silk. The weight of that, which is 1 gram, and that is what 1 denier is. So it's based upon the weight of 9 kilometers of a single of the threads. So if you have this 150 denier, I suppose it will weigh 15 grams or 150 grams maybe, if you have 9 kilometers of this. I don't think that kind of scale is particularly well balanced. So if we return to the Uni thread, the 8.0 is the standard one used for nymphs and dry flies and stuff like that, and the 8.0 in Uni is used for bigger flies. In the GPS thread, which is without a doubt the strongest, it's also a bit more expensive than the others, but I really like this GSP thread because it's so strong, so durable. It comes in two colors, white and black, and the Vevus makes the GSP thread that has the most tying thread on the spool. So this is the Vevus is the best in the price range, because you get more thread for your dollar, for your money. But as I said, it comes in 30, which is the smallest one, the thinnest one, and that is perfect for nymphs and dry flies and stuff like that. And then the 50 denier is probably the most used one. It's perfect for streamers and wet flies. You can even use it. It's very good for salmon flies and steelhead flies and stuff like that. It's also a great thread for smaller nymphs and stuff like that, if you don't want the 30 denier. And then as you go up in size, then it's the 100, 150 and even the 200, maybe even especially the 200 is very good for pike flies, because the thread is so thick that if you're tying on big tubes or big hooks and stuff like that, you will fill out the hook with tying thread very easily, and also it will grab onto your materials a lot. But when you use these GSP threads, it's important that you really apply some force when you're fastening things. The next tying thread I'm gonna. So sorry about that. The next thread we're going to talk about is the UTC, the Ultra thread. This is also a nice thread, and as the GSP one, this is made into, the size of these are into denier. So it has a 70, which is the thinnest one, basically pretty nice for small things and stuff like that. This is very flat, as you will always also see in the later part of the video when we tie this onto a hook. And then it has a double one that is double the 70. It's 140, and then it's a 210 as well. So this is for big flies, this is for small flies, and this is for all the things in between, basically. Comes in a very, very wide range of very great colors, and because it's very flat, a lot of people use this quite a lot. It's a very popular thread. It's stronger than the Uni thread, but not as strong as the GSP one. The next thread is the Beneki, a semi-round thread, that also comes in 3 different sizes. It comes in 8.0, 10.0, and 12.0. So this is kind of like a step up because these are thinner. The 8.0 is around 70 denier. So this is their thickest. Beneki's thickest is the same as the thinnest of the UTC. So these primarily focuses on smaller flies, on dry flies and nymphs and stuff like that, because you can get these in thinner diameter, thinner sizes than both the Uni and also the UTC. And then the last of the 4 major standard tying brands is Vevus. Vevus is a fairly new brand, but I must say, in a very short period, Vevus has really cornered or taken over a lot of fly fishermen's hearts, and with good reason, because Vevus is without a doubt the strongest one of all these for a tying thread. So if you have something that has exactly the same diameter, and you compare the strength between these 4, then Vevus comes out the winner every single time. Also, the range of the Vevus thread is very, very big. It comes from 6.0, then 8.0, 10.0, 12.0, 14.0, and 16.0. So you really get a really, really wide selection of, and also some very, very nice colors for a lot of different things. And we have we stock every single thread of all of these, every color, every single thread that these 4 companies produce, we have in stock. And I must say, the Vevus is becoming more and more popular. Also, it's the best. I think it's my preferred. I can't, because best is kind of a strange thing to say, but it's my preferred tying thread. When I do not use the DPS thread, I use the Vevus. So really, really awesome. The 16.0 is awesome and really, really impressively strong for its size and stuff like that. Well, the last thing I want to talk is to mention is that it's also possible to get a monofilament, which is a clear tying thread. Vevus makes a very, very nice one, and as the first ever I've seen, Vevus makes a black monofilament thread. And of course, this is completely round, and it will not be able to flatten out. But it's a good tying thread if you want something that is transparent. Let's say you're building heads on baitfish or tying realistic shrimp patterns and stuff like that, or messing around with UV glue in general, then a mono tying thread is really, really a nice option to have. Well, now I'm going to show you exactly all of these 5 different threads, how they look on a black hook in white, and then hopefully you can make an enlightened selection on fly tying thread next time you are off to buy fly tying thread. Well, hello again. As promised, here is the black hook shank. So now we are going to apply these 5 different threads to show exactly what they look out on the hook. So the first one I'm going to do is the classic Uni with the green label, the 8.0, and what this thread really does is it's spun fairly much. So what this thread is, it's not a flat thread. It really is a round thread, which gives you the opportunity to make kind of like a very, very distinguished and very closely done ball of thread, for instance. So as you can see, the thread here, it stacks up very nicely. it's not flat, so it don't spread out. It doesn't even out. It keeps the structure, this rounded profile very well, and that can be an advantage if you're doing something like this. But if you want something like if you want something like a tinsel body or a floss body or something like that, then a thread like this won't be optimal. I can see that I've been using a black thread before on this on my bobbin, because some of the colors are lingering there, and that stains the color here. The uni thread is a highly popular thread which a lot of people use, but what I think is that mainly the people use it out of habit, because in my opinion it's the least strong of the 5 we're gonna test, and also I like a thread that is able to be a bit more flat than this one. So the next one we're gonna take is the UTC 70 Dinya. This is a completely different thread, as you probably can see here. This is completely flat, and what this does, as soon as you start tying this will flatten out, and just really a completely different feel and a completely different touch. Overall, this is about the same thickness as the 8.0 thread, but this is quite a lot stronger. Also, this has a bit more shine to it, and also it's a bit, because it flattens out, it gets a bit more transparent. So a lot of different properties going on here with the UTC thread. The main thing is that it's flat. It's fairly easy to use if you want to basically cover a lot of hook shank in a short time. So basically it's flatter, and that really shows in this video. It's flatter and stronger than the oh, it broke, so no worries. The next thing is the Beneki. The Beneki is don't have white in 8.0, so this is a 10.0, and what you can see with Beneki is it has kind of like the same features as the 2 others. You can have where it's white, and it's if you spin if you set your bobbing tube to spin like this, you can actually make this even more like the uni thread, but you can also do it the other way around. You can uncoil it, or what you want to say, or how you say that, and then you get a flat thread. This is something that really you can do with any thread, but I like the feel of this Beneki thread. It's somewhere in between the uni and the UTC in regards to strength, but a very decent, very well priced tying thread that has the properties of both of these other two, in that it is a bit round in the beginning, but it's very easy to make flat. So the 2 threads that are left is the 2 Vivus threads. The first one is the Vivus standard thread, which in my book is probably the best tying thread in the entire world. I'm really happy with this one, and I use this a lot. When I don't use the GPS thread, I use this for all my tying. First of all, because it comes in a very wide range. It comes from 6.0 to 16.0, and also because it's the strongest, and it has a lot of the properties that I like about a good tying thread. First of all, as you can see, it's easy to make very wide and flat, but you can also very easily, if you spin it, kind of like the Beneki, you can make it into this. So that it's possible to make this ball of tying thread, but as I said, what this thread that really stands out in comparison to the others is that this is the strongest one when in regards to diameter. This is the strongest one of all of these as when it comes to normal tying thread. So the Vivus is very great, very nice, although my squeaky bobbin is not that great. And then it comes to the last thread, which is the thread that I probably use the most, This is the GSP thread, and why I use this is simply because it's so really phenomenally strong. It's completely flat, and that is also something that I like. But what this is you need to apply a lot of pressure to a thread like this, and you can see it can become almost transparent. Even though I've added quite a lot of thread, it simply just spreads out. But you need to make sure that you have, and as you can see, I'm really, you probably can't see that, but I'm really pulling on this, and this is so strong that you can't, you simply cannot break this without doing damage to your bobbin or something like that. So the GPS thread is the strongest, is the most flat of all of these, but it's also the most expensive, and it doesn't come in as many colors. UTC has some GSP thread that is colored, but otherwise I mainly use the white and the black ones, and the ones that I'm most happy with is the again the Vivus GSP threads, because there's more on the spool than on any other brand of GSP thread. So really this is the best option for your money. So a lot of good tying threads. I've shown you how these different threads look on a hook, well, basically that was it for this video for now. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was kind of my take on the different differences between the different tying threads. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. We stock every single one of these threads in our web shop. It's called NordicAnglers.com. So swing by there; it would mean a lot to us. And of course, as I said, subscribe to the channel. Please leave a comment if there is anything that we can do to help you, or if there's any videos you would like us to make. Otherwise, I'm off for now. I'm going fishing, so good luck out on the water.